All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee, and today we're going to do part two of Miss Vicky B. I'm going to try not to talk too loud. I moved over to the other side of the room. We'll see how this works out. Let me move my kind of shaky coffee cup. I moved over to the other side of the room for the direct sunlight just to give it a shot to see if the direct sunlight plus one lamp worked or made it clearer. So far it looks pretty good. So we're going to try it over here, but I am on a shakier table, and we'll see how it works over here. As long as my internet gets it's like one bar less on this side of the room for whatever reason. So as long as we stay connected to Ustream on this side of the room, then I'll stay over here. And if not, we'll just move over to the other side. So thanks everybody for being here. And again, we're going to work on Miss Vicky B. I told everybody last week on part one that I'd like to do something for the YouTube viewers because everything, all the chat and everything happens over here on Ustream, and the YouTubers, excuse me, that watch the recordings, that aren't here, they get it, they don't get all the chat and some of the fun and stuff that we do over here. So I wanted to kind of just shout out to some of my favorite YouTubers, and Miss Vicky B is like the planner queen as far as I'm concerned. I know there's other planner girls out there. Yes, I know. Don't email me. But anyway, so Miss Vicky B is the one that I see the most doing unboxings and showing new planners and talking about her planner. And moving in and out of different planners. It's just interesting. And so we did part one already of her. And so let me show you the picture that we're working from. I'm working from this picture of her. And so you can see I still have a lot to go on her face. Let me refocus. Come back. Come back. And so it might look a little bright. It's not true color because of the sunlight. But if I turn it down to dark in the face, the color's not right. So we're just going to try it over here. Well, you can always send any kind of cards. I'm always needing birthday cards, get well cards, because if y'all don't know, if you're over here on Ustream and if you're a part of the birthday list and all that, if you, the girls all send in cards that they've made for me to send out all year long. I don't make cards, so if I run out of cards, I have to buy a card. Don't make me buy a card. Hey, Vicky, the other Vicky, Vicky. This is the alligator Vicky. Vicky BR. So hey, Vicky. Yeah, Vicky BR is not Miss Vicky B. Yes. No, Miss Vicky B is Miss Vicky B. Vicky BR is the alligator girl. I've known Vic. I think I've probably known Vicky. Probably, I'd say she's one of the 99 of all the people I know. She's probably the first one I ever met. I started watching Ustream, about 5.5 years ago because I've been streaming for 5. And Artistic Biker Blade was the first person I watched, and Vicky was there. I do remember that. I don't remember who else was there after that. Poe, who else? There was a few other people that I just remember being there. Those first days that I found Ustream, and then I found Paula, and then I started streaming. So, and of course, everybody else since then. But Vicky's one of the very, very first people I met. Um, yeah, it depends on what you want. Yeah, it depends on what it is, Vicky. I mean, Gina. I mean, it's expensive for me to forward on. So it depends on what it is. What it is you want me to mail out. Oh, let me tell you this. Try this, Gina. Try this. Camper Sisters on Facebook have their new group. They streamed on Saturday. They have the what is it called? for some, I got to write that down. Come Clean 2016. And they're doing organizing and cleaning out your stash and swapping all that over on their group. They're good. I think they're doing swaps and giveaways. Now you can't sell. You cannot sell on the. I'm not that you would. I'm not saying you would, Gina, but I'm just reminding anybody that's listening. You can't sell anything there. But if you want to do a giveaway, that's probably go post it over there, Gina, and you'll find somebody that needs it, and then you can mail it directly to them. Now, if it's cards, already made cards that you want me to give out throughout the year, then please send them to me so I can mail out cards throughout the year. But if you just have extra supplies or paper or whatever, and you want to give it away, and you're willing to pay for the postage or negotiate the postage with whoever you're giving it to, then do that. Yeah. Carrie can probably post a link there. So. So yeah, if you want to share what you have and other people over here on Ustream that or anybody that wants to join the group over there, it's Scrappy Camper Sisters, and the group is called Come Clean 2016. Okay. Thanks, Carrie. All right, so I'm going to work on Miss Vicky for a while. I don't know that I'm going to finish it 100%. I mean, I've got the bulk of her face done. I want to work on her skin, probably work on it for at least an hour. And then I'll stop this recording and start another one because I do have some things that I bought I want to show. I have a new notebook I'm working on. It's not a planner. You could call it a planner. Let's put it this way. I love planners as long as there's not a calendar involved. And so if you keep hearing that noise, I'm bumping my knee on this table legs underneath. I keep see that now. Anyway. Okay, so let me go ahead and start working on her. Hopefully I won't be talking. Let me try to move this camera up just a tad there so I can move her up too. There we go. And I'll have my picture here. So let me prop her up right there. Hopefully not knock her over. And I'm going to work on her a little bit. So I'm going to start a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit more of her skin and probably her hair right now. So I'll keep it zoomed out. If I want to kind of get shown, I zoomed in real close when I worked on her eyes. So I pretty much have finished her eyes on part 1. But I got to do her hair, her skin, her lips, some more of her teeth. So if y'all have any questions, put them in caps, and I will try to answer your question. Yeah, overseas international postage is outrageous, just saying. It's crazy outrageous. So I don't know that if anybody's doing swaps or sharing their stuff. It's totally up to the person. If they can afford to spend 25, 30 bucks to mail something international and they want to do it, that's totally up to them. I can't afford to do that. But if everybody else, just post it over there, which on their site, on their group, or you can, I don't care if you talk about it here. Y'all can talk about it here. I don't care. So, all right, let me get a sip of coffee and then we will get crack-a-lackin'. All right, there I go. But see, I'm going to have to move this table over. I'm going to have to this is why it's called tweaking. Okay. So let me go ahead and let me move that back down just a tad so it's closer to me. All right, so for her hair, she's got some like yellow gold ochre kind of brights. She does have a few white highlights. She's got some kind of, it's not really brown, but it's more brown than it is red. So she has just tons of light yellow colors in her hair. So I'm going to just kind of pick out a few here. Okay. Hey, Jennifer Crack-a-Lackin'. All right, so let me get the darkest yellow ochre in here first. And I did start the base coat here. Now, you may not be able to see some of these colors. We'll have to, this is a test. On the other side of the room with sunlight and one lamp, rather than just just lamplight because I usually work with 5 lamps. And I just wanted to try it with the with direct sunlight. So we'll see how it goes. It might be a little flashed out, so we'll give it a go. I want to just make sure I get her curls. And this is the very darkest shadow underneath of her hair. It's going to kind of blend out into some brown with some light highlights over, kind of crossing over. But she does have some like golden yellow. And then she has a little bit brighter golden yellow. And it's kind of it might be kind of this color. Yeah, it's kind of a peach color, but it's, let me see if this one's better or if this, or if the ginger root is a little lighter. Yeah, I think the ginger root's a little better for some of the highlights other than just bright white. So and I'm not trying to match every streak in her hair. Like I'm not trying to get every highlight exactly where the highlights are exactly on her hair. I just want essence of highlights. Oh, okay. And I want it, curly and flippy like that. All right, so now let me get a few of the brown. Let's see, this, I do want this flip to come around this way though. And then she has this coming around this way, and then a flip comes around that way. Let me just get some of those curly flips kind of drawn in. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. Everybody's going to start their new year, and I know everybody's got new year plans and planners and projects, and hope everybody getting a good start on whatever you have, your goals, I should say, your goals for the year. So I'm just kind of going over the black here where I put the paint at the very beginning, just making it kind of dark brown. And the curls come around. And I'll post it when I'm done so everybody can get a better look at it, because it depends on, how well this lighting is, if you can see it very well. But I did do all of part one, the little bit darker room. Let's go over the black. So I think you'll see it a couple of different versions. It's been a while since you've been here, Gina. It's probably a lot different from, a lot of things different since the last time you were here. I don't know. When they change things up, it's hard to remember what it used to be. you know. Hey, Heather. That's true, Jean. Depends, yeah. It changes different for the streamer and the chat, versus the chatters. That's true. I'm gonna have a couple little hairs coming on that way. We're gonna put her highlights on in a minute. I'm gonna give her highlights. So anyway, what I was saying earlier is I'm gonna try to draw at least once a month. I want to try to draw a YouTuber that I like and that I watch, and that we all like and watch over here on Ustream, that we all admire. And but I'm just going to pick, if I only do, it depends on how much time I have. If I plan on doing one a month, that's probably all I can really plan for. But I thought that would be kind of something to do um, this year, is kind of like shout out some of the YouTubers that I like. We already did, let's see here. Well, I'll show you after we're done. We've done Packer Die. I did do Sister Woman, Jonna and Darcy, but I had little tiny pictures of them from CHA, just some screenshots from CHA. They're really little. It's very, very difficult to do, for me, to do portraits from tiny little pictures. I can't see any detail to really work from, and I think that's probably true of most portrait artists. It's hard, if you don't have good pictures, you just can't. You only can draw what you see. Otherwise, you're just making it up. Which sometimes you kind of have to kind of fill in the gaps a little bit, but when they're real, real tiny pictures, it is hard to do. So I did have these little pictures of Sister Woman and Darcy. So I'm not real happy with they're just small little portraits. I'm not real happy with those drawings because they were so tiny, but it was all I had. And so I might end up redrawing them at some point. But let's see who else. We drawn Darcy UK. We drew Packer Die, Sister Woman, and we drew Jay. Um, who else? We drew Bailey J. We've drawn. I'm trying to think of all, just from here. I mean, from that we know online, other than my commissions and all that. Oh, that's nice. That's nice, Gina. I mean, we all loved. I mean, I love to share, and when I did my clean out, I wanted to, really. I sent out quite a bit. I did send out quite a bit, and all my extra stamps. I asked people just to email me which stamps they liked, and I mailed out all those. But then it gets expensive. It gets expensive, especially if you want to mail paper, because you have to mail a 12.95 box for 12 by 12 paper. Um, to get it wide enough in a priority box. And of course, you can't even do international on something like that. So it's nice if you can afford to send out, or like I said, I think that if someone is willing to give you a bunch of stuff, you can at least share the postage, right? So y'all don't overwhelm poor Gina. No, she wasn't, Jean. She wasn't on that flight from China. No, she wasn't. She commented on it, but she wasn't on that flight. I think she might have had a friend or somebody that was on it. I don't know, but she wasn't on it. So, okay, so I want to kind of just get her hair, just kind of get some of the dark, and then I'm going to put a few, highlights here at the end. The postage for those boxes, yeah, 180 exactly. So that's what I'm saying, Jean. I mean, we appreciate your generosity, but don't put yourself in a bind giving stuff away. You know, seriously. Okay, so she's going to have a few. I'm going to have put some bright highlights on the outside edges too. So I'm just looking at the picture, kind of seeing where I want maybe a little bit. darker right in here. But that would be scary, Jean, no matter who it is on that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, so there, I think I got enough brown. So now I'm going to go in here with my ginger root. Jean's going to make me pull out my magnifying glass. And I want to get in here and give her some highlights. Because it's not bright white. Ginger root is kind of a yellow, beige yellow. And so it's kind of just perfect for going up right over the hair here and giving her some highlights. And plus I want to go around the outside edge with this and a white to really like make it really bright. And because it's got the underpainting of paint, these light colors it'll go over wherever there's paint that I haven't gone over yet. And I tried to make sure and leave some areas where there's paint so that this will show up. Yeah, I donate most of my scrapbook papers to school, schools at least. And Jess said that her schools didn't want any. That's odd. But any elementary school around here would gladly take any. Okay, this needs to kind of be underneath that. So let me kind of darken that under that curl there. And then this one will be on top. It does, Carrie. That's why we try to do that, We try. And I could always add, a couple of wisps of, this kind of a golden beige kind of in acrylic if I need a couple extra bright highlights. But we'll see. She's got a couple coming down like right there. And she's got some coming up the top of her head. Then it's kind of darker up in here. I'm going to give her a couple extra highlights up there. And then it's really bright right here. And kind of flips around. And then she's got a couple of little curls kind of under here. I'll give her a couple extras. And then this kind of flips around like that. Flip a few over the top. That always makes it look more real when you can put a few little wisps coming out. Although I tell her she's so put together. She hardly has a hair out of place. But I think I'm going to flip a couple of white hairs, like lit hairs, kind of flowing off of her, from her. Okay. What's the difference between your paper and the stuff they buy? You mean in schools? It's that it's decorative. I'm talking like the decorative scrapbook papers. Our schools love those because they use them in the art classes and stuff. All right, so now let's see if we can get a few bright white highlights on here. If I can't get enough bright whites, which I may not, I might have to get in there with just a little bit of white acrylic paint, or like a kind of a little bit lighter cream color than this. But I do want a few like little hairs kind of wisping off like that. And you probably won't see that. I can barely see it on camera. Just a few kind of wisping out. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put a little bit of, maybe just a touch of acrylic on those very, very brightest. We'll do that. And her hair really is much darker right back in here. But I didn't want to make it look like she had a lot of brown, like roots or something. She has so many variations of blonde in her hair, from the very darkest black in the shadows to some actual white highlights. I think I'll give her a little bit more of a oomph there on her hair. Give her a little lift. Give her hair a little bit more lift. You can see the wisps? Okay. But I just want to do a few, and when I come down around here, like this, but I want just a couple coming off the hair. So I think I'll do that with a little bit of cream, white, almost white cream paint, because it'll really pop, I think. All right, so back to a little bit of our shirt. Underneath, I actually need a little bit of almost black, just lightly put a little bit of shadow with some black, and then I'll go over it with the gray, because it's really dark right under her curls there. And a couple of little extra folds in her shirt, something like that. I'm not going crazy with the clothes. I would like to just concentrate on, make it the face, the feature, unless it's a uniform or something really, that is important to the picture. I'll go back over it with the gray to kind of blend it in. Hi, Eileen. But other than maybe the brightest bits on her teeth and then the brightest whites in the eyes, it's pretty much all, well, it is. It's all color pencil except for a few of the very brightest white highlights. But the skin and the clothing and the hair, I start with a nice little base of acrylic paint just to go on top of it. Kind of just is. I'll just do. I don't know. So a little bit of shadow under there, maybe just a tiny bit darker, right under the hair there. Hey, Julie, I know her last name's not Topaz. So yeah, if you're just coming in, I'm trying a new spot in my room. It's it's by my draft. If you've seen my room, my big table's behind me now, and my drafting table is literally right there. Then I have this table, this fold-out table. It's probably about 2 feet by 5 feet. So half Lappy takes up with the pantry rack, because I sit it up on a pantry rack so I can have my vision at eye level on the laptop. The chat is at eye level when it's raised up on the pantry rack. And but I have my direct sunlight right here with one lamp and an overhead lamp. But I just thought I'd try some brighter light with Ustream and see how it worked. So it probably looks a little different, and it does look a little more flashed out, but I think it looks a little clearer too. Okay, Steffi, thanks for stopping in. Good to see you. Anybody else that comes and goes? Thank you for stopping in. So I'm just going to smooth out some more of that shadow. A couple extra lighter highlights here. It's like a silky kind of shirt with lots of folds in it. So kind of. Okay, so I am going to want, some light around her hair. So let me go ahead and put some of that. And then I think I'll go ahead and let me mix up a kind of a creamy white for a few highlights. And then we'll get back onto her face. Because her skin is only like partially done. It's just like based in. So I got to work on the skin. Now that, I got to say, lots of layers on the skin is probably going to get a little monotonous. I mean, if you're just watching, because you probably won't even be able to hardly see the differentiations in the layers until they start really building up. But it has to be done. It has to be done. All right, let me get a little bit of paint. Let me pick a brush here. Hang on. Kind of need a little bit of a short. Here we go. I think this will work. Okay. So I just got a little bit of sort of like that same kind of beigey color and some white. So I just want to make it, I don't want it pure white, but I don't want that dark beige either. I just want to kind of, let's see what that looks like. Maybe just a tiny bit lighter. So I'm going to have to probably turn this a minute so I can kind of get some hairs. So you can kind of see how it... I'm just barely touching it with my brush, just giving it a few little wisps. And then I'll kind of cut across here with a few. Even though her hair is really not windy like this, I'm just going to give her a few little extra wisps. Like right on the highlighted spots of her hair. Thanks, Eileen. There's a little bit right in there, a little bit of highlight right in there. One right there. Well, it's hard not to. I mean, it's not hard to do some. She's so pretty. It's just like she's pretty. She's pretty easy to draw. She's so pretty, and it's just so flowy. And I don't know. I don't have a problem drawing her. That's for sure. Okay, so let's see. Let's put a little bit, just a few little wisps over here. Highlight. I'm just kind of like almost dry brushing this on. It's very, little pressure just to kind of wisp it, know what I mean, Vern? Get too much, can just kind of blend it out a little. And maybe just a couple spots. All right, let me just do a couple little wisps coming off this way. I mean, I could do a liner brush and just like 2 or 3 hairs, but I'm just kind of making a little bit of highlight like that. And I know her hair looks very, I mean, but her hair is very perfect. I mean, she's got it coiffed very nicely. All right, so just a couple little. Thanks, Marita. Yeah, this is Miss Vicky B. If y'all don't follow her, I will put another link in my description box on YouTube. And she does all kinds of planner unboxing, planner, you know, she changes her planners and, you know, talks about which ones are working for her, and sketchbooks, and she's doing some color books too. So she does a little bit of everything. So yeah, she's awesome. Here's her picture that I'm working from. Can't see if I can get it back now here. So I don't want to overdo, because I'll have a tendency just to keep working it, especially if I'm talking. All right, so I think I'm going to stop on the hair for right now. I mean, there's a couple other little places that I might want to have a little bit of. And the thing about with paint, with acrylic paint, like let's just say I get too much right there, and I don't like that's too thick. Well, once it dries, you can go back over it with a color pencil and just you can get rid of it. I mean, you can get rid of anything with color pencil over acrylic paint. So, all right, I think we will maybe just one more little wisp right there. All right, so like this. All right, so see how that's real light right there? If I don't want it that light, I can just go back over it with a color pencil. See? So that's one nice thing about acrylic paint and color pencil. You just go right over it like that. Okay, so I'm going to stop on the hair for right now. I might go back in with the liner brush and do a few like individual strands, but I'll wait on that for now. Okay. So let's go on with the face, her skin, and her lips. All right, maybe I will zoom in one. Let's go ahead and zoom in one and refocus. Now the light is changing too because the sun is coming in and out. So it does kind of change. Let's see if I can refocus now. Let's see. Oh, no, that's not quite. It wants to flash out. Hang on, let me work on this a minute. Let me get it to, because I zoomed in so much. Sometimes it works to zoom, sometimes it works better just to lower the camera. There, let's see. So hopefully that's a little, makes my hands look a little red, but it makes her face look a little better too. So yeah. Because I'm not that, somebody said, look, I had dishpan hands. It's because the lighting is making this look light and this look dark. But I want this to look right. Okay. All right, sip of coffee. All right, so back on her skin. So I want to, she has really pretty flawless makeup on. And it's like she does have, especially in her cheeks here, she does have quite a bit of like blush, peach, like a pink blush. So I'm going to go ahead and put that like a little darker, and it's just going to be layering now. And I don't know, I'll probably, let's see how long we've been doing this. Maybe at least about 30 more minutes. I'll work on her skin, and so you can start to see what it's going to look like, but I don't know that I'm going to sit here for 2 hours and do her skin because it might take that long. But I just take my time and do nice soft layers. Okay, so her cheeks, this is like her blush, her makeup. So it's just kind of like putting on makeup on her. It's just doing it real gently. And then I have a little bit more pink around her chin here. And I already did, now remember what I said, I've got already done her mascara, so I have to be careful. You don't want to touch that black. I'm just going to kind of add just a tiny bit more pink right there. And her eyeshadow is a little bit more extended, like right up there. Yes, it's Miss Vicky B, if you're just joining us. Okay, so now I need a kind of a peachy, I need a little bit darker than this one here. So now I'm going to go with let's see what it's called. Nectar. And it's not pink, but it's not quite peach. It's a little kind of in between. And that's just almost her perfect shadowed areas in her face. A little bit of shadow here. And I'm trying to take my time, but it's sometimes on Ustream I go a little faster than I should. So I don't want to, I want to do it well. So I'm going to kind of go back over the pink that I already did, but extend it up just a little past the blush of the makeup. I don't see it. This is why it's very subtle. I don't even know if y'all can tell that I'm doing anything. I mean, can y'all see any changes at all? It's hard to tell on camera. I can see it in person, but it's hard to tell on camera if y'all can see any changes really at all because it's so subtle. So anyway, I'm going to work on this for a little while longer, and because this is pretty much, other than her lipstick, which, let me go ahead and kind of blend in. I've already got a little bit of, what color was it I was using? Mahogany. Is it mahogany? Yeah, mahogany red. So I'm going to just add just a tiny bit more on her lipstick. And then I'll blend it in, same thing with her like true skin color. The top lip's pretty well done. Needs a little bit more shadow right there of lipstick and that lip line. And then I'll blend it out with the peach color real subtly. It's very, it's very subtle. You can see the changes? Okay. Okay, thanks, Jean. Jean, you're so awesome. Okay. So just kind of blending in her lipstick and her, giving her lips a little roundness. All right, so now that red is on here. So I'm going to come over here so I don't, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Over a little farther away, but I'm cleaning off my pencil of the red because I don't want to get that red in some of these light areas on her face. Yeah, Jean's not napping today. Okay, so again, I'm going to go in here with a little bit more, just a little bit more. And I'm just, I'm doing it very lightly. I'm not putting hardly any pressure at all. Okay. And there's a couple little areas like her nostrils, and I'm going to go in there with a little darker brown here again. And just kind of shape up her face. She has a little beauty mark right there. Just very lightly. A little darker under the chin. And then her neck, I'll have to work down here in her neck too. She's going to have, some, it'll be the same thing that I'm doing on her face. See how subtle it is? See how it's smoothing out? Can y'all tell that her skin is smoothing out? Okay, so now I need just a little bit of, don't have it right, maybe not have it here. I might need to go get another kind of an in-between. Don't want dark brown. I don't want a rust color. Hang on. I almost need a dark beige. Hang on, guys. I'm looking for a certain brown. It's not, probably not exactly this one, but I don't want the sienna. Uh-oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I keep forgetting that under my table here, the legs, this is a fold-out table, and the fold-out part is like right at my knee. So, all right, so I just need a few areas that are just a little darker. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of darkness, and then I'll go back over it again with the beige so that it doesn't look kind of too rust color, but there's a couple areas that just need a little bit more darkness. But I don't want it to be like brown, although her nostrils I do need dark brown. Let me sharpen that again. Hey, Angie Bell. So just right under there. That. And then just a couple areas like right here in this crease of her, under her cheek right there. And her little smile right here, her dimple. Just a little darker where the dimple is. A little darker on the lipstick right there. And right along that, like she has her like lip liner on. Right here in the corner of her mouth. Just those little touches. Just a tiny dark right there under the chin. Just picking out a few areas where it's really quite a bit darker, but I'll go back again and blend them in with, you know, a couple other shades. But this is all like takes, you know, it just takes time. It's very subtle and very, very subtle. That's just the word for it. Just tiny little things. And then don't forget, remember what I said about turning your picture upside down to make sure everything is correct. You know, all the proportions and everything are correct. I mean, the smallest little thing, like the little lines at the ends of her mouth, those could be going just a little bit the other way, and you may not notice it, but if you turn your paper upside down and your reference, you turn them both upside down, you'll go, oh, that needs to go just a slight bit. But you don't want to wait too long before you do that. I mean, you want to do it constantly because you don't want to make such, you know, big mistakes in proportion or, you know, get something like off kilter. You don't want that to happen and so that you go so far you can't correct it. A couple of little lines or a little bit of dark or light you can correct. But if you get it too off, too dark, you can't go in there and fix it. What color did you use for the rosy parts of her skin? Well, I used some pink. I used some nectar, and I used some light and medium, I think it's, what is it called? Peach? Yeah. Light peach and regular peach. So I already had a bunch of layers already on here before we started today. All right, so now back with the, you know, the kind of mid brown. I'm just going to blend out a little bit of that dark brown up, and she has, you know, kind of high cheek or defined cheekbones there. Her cheeks are really, you know, very defined. And it could partially be because she knows how to put on her makeup well. She has nice cheekbones. A little combination of both. And then I'll go back over this, like I said, with the peach color, so it's not like a harsh, you know, you just got to keep blending layers, blending, blending, blending. Oh, well, thanks, guys. But this is the part that gets a little monotonous if you're watching because it's so subtle and the colors are just, you know, it just takes time to do all this blending. You know, sometimes it takes hours. And I'm not going to make y'all sit here for, you know, I'm not going to make you sit here for 3 hours just watching me do this. Okay, let's see, a little bit darker right in here. Again, I'm being careful not to touch your eyelashes. I don't want to smear that. I'm like above, right above the line, like just adding a little bit of more makeup, a little bit more eyeshadow. Needs a little bit more on this side too. It's calming. Good. Okay. That's nice, Orla. Just picking out a few of the little bit darker areas. And I'll go back in again and go over it with the peach. I mean, you have to see how very lightly I'm touching the paper. It's so very lightly. I can't stress that enough. And it's just back and forth. Okay, back with the light peach now. Sharpen it up a little. Just to do another like light, make sure all this is blended. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of make sure there's like wherever I see what I just did, I'm just going to kind of go back over it very, I mean, I can't tell you how lightly I'm touching the paper. I mean, look, I'm doing this. So you can't even hardly see it. That's how light of a touch I'm having. Just like that. Did I lose focus there, guys? Did it kind of go out of focus? It's hard to tell sometimes. Maybe with that little letter right there, that kind of helps a little bit. Okay. Hey, Blondie, how you doing? Anybody else I missed coming in? Thanks everybody for being here. We're just working a little bit more. I was going to say finishing, but we're not going to finish because I'll probably have a few more tweaks and stuff to go and more of her skin. And I know it's hard for y'all to tell on camera because it does look perfectly smooth on camera. But I do have, I don't know, see how you can still see some of the paper under there? All that has to be blended out. And it just takes time. I know y'all say it's relaxing, but I don't know. Light touch. So it's going to pull the pencil out of your hand. Yeah, I have a light touch on it. Yeah. Thanks, Blondie. And it does take time. You just gotta be patient. So I'm going back over all the brown areas, or I should say, it's kind of a peachy brown color, kind of a little bit of red tint to it. And I just want to make sure that that's all blended in really nicely. Then after this layer, I'll probably go back in with some white and make sure I don't lose the very brightest, like right there on her nose, on the tip of her nose. I don't want to lose those bright whites that I put in on the map, mapping out her face. But you have to do this very subtle and very light touch, because once the layers build up, you get about 20 layers. I don't know how many, but it depends on how hard of a, how much pressure you put. But you get so many layers on it, and it won't blend anymore. You'll just be piling wax on top of wax. So to have still blendability, you have to have those light touch, that light touch. And I'm constantly looking at my photo of her. Yeah, it'll take a poster. If you're working on a color poster, like the size of the peacock I was doing, Orla, it's going to take you a while. Oh my gosh, girl, that's going to take you a while. So, anybody got any, talk about the classes y'all are taking for the new year. I mean, I know there's some of y'all that signed up for some different courses like Paula's and um, all that. Why don't y'all talk about some of the classes y'all are taking or signed up for, I should say, like Paula's, and I forgot the name of her. So if y'all want to post it, I'll repeat it. It's not just Paula, but it's a group of artists that are doing a course for a few weeks. I don't know if it's a year long. There's a few year long courses, but feel free to talk about the courses that y'all signed up for, classes or projects or whatever that y'all are taking for the year. Creative Jumpstart and Wanderlust. So who puts those out, Eileen? Who puts those two out? And I'll repeat them. And feel free to put links too, guys. So Creative Jumpstart. Is that one Paula's? Is that the one Paula's in? And I can't remember all the names unless I'm like write them down and then read them back to you guys. That's why I re-ask you all the time. Jean is signed up for Wanderlust and the Jumpstart one, and a watercolor for card makers. I know y'all take that card maker one all the time. Every few months they come out with a new one, don't they, Jean? You and a few of you guys, Eileen. I know y'all take those watercolor card classes. Paula's in the Creative Jumpstart, and Wanderlust is a year-long class. Vicky's taking 4 courses telepathically. Ah, ah, oh, Vicky BR. It's Vicky, our alligator Vicky. Not Miss Vicky B, another Vicky. Vicky, you're so funny. Yeah, if y'all can put links in. Feel free to link up. I don't care if y'all link about. I mean, I really encourage everybody to link up the classes they're taking so everybody can, be inspired and, everything that everybody's doing. Except Vicky's telepathic ones. I don't know how we're going to link those babies. Uh, Vicky, I don't know how we're going to link those telepathic classes. Vicky BR. The card ones, the techniques you can transfer to journal pages, and yeah, I figured you could, Jean. You and Eileen. I mean, y'all do some awesome stuff with those. Okay, so I think I blended out every place that I just put down a little bit darker area. Now I want to go back in with the white. Make sure I clean the white off because I can see there's stuff on there. I don't want to get, let me sharpen it too. Jean finally got her Lifebook 2015 vid saved. Good for you, Jean. I don't know when you're going to have time for all those, Jean. All right, so now I'm going to go back. I mean, I'm all for any kind of classes and that inspire people and everything. So yeah, I'm just picking on you, sassy. Okay, so she has a kind of a white, kind of a lighter area right along her hairline here. So I just want to make sure that's blended out and not just like a white like line. Just blendy, blendy. And then right above her eyebrows here. See these white areas right here, what I'm doing? Like right above the eyebrow and how that shape comes across her face. That gives her face her personality and her like the definition in her face. And she has kind of a light area here on her forehead. Yeah, you always want to get those lights on top of the eyebrows and the eyebrow, like eyebrow bone or whatever that's called right there. And the same thing, around the under the like right here, it's a little brighter. She has a bright area right here on her cheek, right there. And I started it mapping it out at the very very beginning, but by the time you add lots of layers of color, you can start losing some of the brightest whites. So I'm going back in there again and picking those out. I don't want to lose. See the cheeks? See how different that looks? Look at that white right there, how much that makes a difference. Can y'all see that? From that to that? See that white right there, how that pops that cheek? Now watch this. Now I'm going to put it on here. All right, watch. Watch how much of a difference that makes. See? Can y'all see how much rounder her cheek looks with just that right there? See? Same thing for right here. Her smile uh, right here is, she has a nice big smile and it's a nice highlight right there, right before her little dimple right there. She has a nice bright highlight right on the tip of her nose. See how that just makes it just more realistic? Just by adding those brights, it does make a difference, yeah. Just a little bit right here on that nostril, just a tiny, tiny bit there. A little bit of contouring I need to do right along her nose there. And she has her little beauty mark right there. I don't want to make it too stand out. I'll blend that out a little. Okay, and then again, right above the lip. Now you don't want to make people look like they have a milk mustache. You got to blend this out. See, right now it's a little harsh right there. I don't want her to look like she has a milk mustache. So I'll go back in there with the cream and kind of blend that in a minute, okay? All right, same thing for right in here. It's a little bit brighter right there. Right under her chin, right there under her mouth, on top of her chin. Kind of make sure you blend it out, though. You don't want like, you don't want just a blob of white. You gotta blend it all out. You gotta be careful. A little bit under her eyes where she's smiling real big, so she has like, her eyes are kind of crinkled a little bit because she's got a big smile. Okay, on her neck down here. Now I haven't got enough peach down here to really worry about doing the bright white highlights yet. I got to still do more peach color down there. So you can start to see. Again, she has a little bit brighter right under the eyebrows there. Her makeup, it might be her makeup there too. Is it possible for you to do demo just how light your stroke is? Yeah, I did that right here, Linda. Linda Stonybrook, yeah. This is how light I'm working. Just like that. But now watch, I'm just going to sit here for a minute. All right, now watch how it gets darker and darker. I'm using the same pressure. I'm not changing the pressure here. See how it builds up? Watch again. Okay, so let me make a little area here where I can work. I'm just going to go back and forth here. See how lightly I'm touching that? But the more layers you build up, that's why it's better to do light layers, because see how many layers or how much I can build up here by just doing soft layers over and over. Let me turn my pencil. Just by doing light layers. I'm not changing the pressure of my pencil. I'm just going over and over and over in it. So you can see how many layers I can get. Have I gone about 10, 15, maybe 20 times over it already? And I'm still not to this bright yet. So just imagine doing what I'm doing right now, but with like, 5 to 10 colors of peach and brown and beige and pink. And doing this with all the different layers in the skin. See, I haven't even got to the brightest white yet. I'm still not even at this brightness yet. And it's just the same pressure over and over and over. Yeah, you can't press too hard. Now, if I wanted to do like right now a big white bright, I could do one push. Well, see, I pushed too hard to overemphasize. I could do one like real hard line just to get like, a nice one big swoop of a hair. But if you're trying to blend flesh colors and stuff, you can't do that. You can't blend that way. It has to be like this. That's why it takes so long, guys. That's why it takes so long to get the skin. See, I can still see, and maybe you can too. See, you can still see the brown, the tan of the paper under her skin. I have not finished that yet. Same for down here on her neck. It's still kind of, white. So even with all those layers right there, there is no wax bloom. A little bit. A tiny bit, but not much. Not much. But speaking of white, I need to get back down into her teeth. I haven't finished her teeth yet either. And her gum line, I need to do a, let me get my nectar color and sharpen it. I need to get back in between on her gum line and just get a little bit more sharpness. And now remember what I said about teeth. When you're doing the teeth, okay, let's just do a little fake smile here. Well, let me do it over here so you can see. Let me do a little harder pressure. Okay, so you don't want to do teeth like this. You don't want to do lines. Okay, you want your teeth to almost be like this. Okay, now you're going to have to kind of ignore, I did put a lot of pressure on that white there. Okay, so your teeth are more like this with little gum indications. Now, that's probably not going to show up. But you don't want to put like harsh lines between the teeth. It'll look like little baby teeth, that haven't developed yet. It's better not to put those lines. It's better just to let your eye fill that in. Okay? It's better to let your eye fill in all the little, lines between the teeth, because she has very gorgeous, almost perfect teeth, and so it's better just to not have those lines. It's just like have the little V of the top of, the gum line kind of come down, and your eye will fill in that there's a full set of teeth there. And that's provided the person is smiling with all their teeth. Okay. And then you can see just a little bit in like um, under the teeth there. You can just barely see her bottom teeth, just barely showing under there. Like you can just see a little bit on the inside of her mouth right there. So just kind of a little bit of indication. And this, you do got to take your time. And if you need to, put a little bit of a white, paint highlight on there if you can't get it quite as bright as you want. Or will look like Hollywood movie stars with their perfect chiclet teeth. Well, some people actually do have those perfect teeth. I guess you can pay for those nowadays. But hers look natural. Hers look like real teeth. They're just really pretty, and they're white, and they're nice, pretty teeth. So I want to make sure I do that. Okay. And so look at the tops of the teeth, like where their tops are rounded. You can get the shape of them and all that. But you just have to really look at the picture more than you're drawing to get them just right. All right, now I do need just a touch, a little bit. I want to get any little white flakes off that from the color pencil in the black behind, in the back of her mouth there, and her smile. Like that. All right, so now back to the skin. All right, so you can see how it's starting to smooth out a little. Again, I'm going to have to work more up under. I need a little bit darker. A little bit more in the shadow under her face here. It's a little darker. But I don't want her to look like she has a beard. So it's better to put less than to make the shadow look so realistic. I mean, if you make your shadow look so realistic, you don't want to make her look like she has a beard. You know what I mean, Vern? So it's better to keep it on the light side. All right, so now I need my lighter peach. Oh, no, wait. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit now of the peach beige. And because of the areas where where the tan is showing through the paper still a little bit, I'm just going to kind of make sure that I have like a nice coat of a peach beige there. It's very light. I don't want to get rid of everything I've done. You know, I'm just blending, blending, blending. And it gets rid of all the pencil marks. Hey, wee hootie. So I'm going to work on this. Let's see, we've been here about over an hour now. So I'm going to work on it for a couple more minutes. Then I'm going to go ahead and get some coffee and stop, because I think you'll get the idea. I mean, I don't know, you know, how long you just want to watch me just blend the skin, because this is basically what the bulk of anything else I have left to do. And it's hard for me to tell you, oh, it's this color, it's that color, because I'm looking at, if you can see in her skin, it probably won't show up, but all those subtle, you know, all these are different colors. That's all different shades there. And you just got to keep blending and blending and blending and blending and blending and blending. And of course, the colors are not showing up on camera, but I just want to show you, see all those different colors there. And if you see pencil marks that are going like this way, like this is more of a flat surface. Like on her cheeks, I try to kind of, color and shade the way that her face goes. It just, I like to do that because it makes me aware of the shape of the face. So I try to, do this or do that, going this way and this way like that. And but if you see pencil marks going this way, then kind of go sideways gently, and or another, like cross hatching to get rid of, because you don't want just lines of pencil. You want it all blended out, so you have to kind of go back and forth. You see too much pencil that way, you got to go this way. You see too much pencil going left, you got to go right, and just keep blending. So is that, I don't know if that answers anybody's question. I need a little bit darker, just a tiny bit darker under this, right there under that cheek, right there. I'm going to blend that out. Does doing it in little circles. I think that might just be a person's preference of how they color. I don't enjoy doing it, I don't enjoy doing little circles. And in some places you really just can't. I mean, I guess you could, but I think you'd be able to see that. I mean, you could probably do some little circles like right here on her cheeks or something like that. But to do the whole thing, I couldn't do it that way because I like to almost like cross hatch. I like to blend by almost like a cross hatch kind of thing, you know. And by cross hatch, I mean like, let me get a, see, well, maybe this will show up. So it's kind of like you do some this way, but you can still see the lines. So if you do some this way, that starts making another layer and blending the pencil. But then you can see that lines too. So you need to go the other way, and then maybe a little bit straight, a little bit on the angle, and then another angle. And you just kind of go back and forth like that until you don't see the lines. Okay, I'm over exaggerating here. You won't see the lines after you do a whole bunch of different ways. It blends it better, but if you like doing circles, to me that's like more time, and it doesn't make it as smooth. And see, I'm not really thinking about, okay, right here I have to go this away, then I have to go this away, then I have to go. I'm not thinking about it at all. I am not thinking about it at all. I'm just, I see where I can see a little bit of line going one way, so I just automatically go the other. I see that this looks too straight up and down, so I'm going to put a nice even coat going sideways. So I'm not really thinking about, oh, I got to do up and down, sideways. Hi, Sarah. Left, I'm not thinking about it. I just see where the color needs to be blended and I just blend. But I gotta say, guys, all this takes practice. You're not gonna be able to never have drawn a portrait and just pick up a pencil and do this. I can tell you, you're not gonna be able to. Okay, it's just not gonna happen. You have to be able to draw the face first before you can even color it, and then it's practice with the shading, the blending, and the colors. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that you can just do this. Like, but that's why I love color books. Color books are great practice. I don't care what anybody says. Color books are great practice for your colors, your shading, your blending. You can do all this kind of stuff in a color book and practice it. You can practice all these, pencil techniques, whether you start with a base of acrylic or watercolor or just plain color pencil, whatever you do it with, it's great practice with color books. That's why, I'm just all about the color books for showing people blending and shading and all that. It's great, great practice. And it's fun. It's relaxing to use a color book. So don't let anybody get on you on your color books, people. I'm just saying. You're the boss of your color book, and I don't care what anybody says. Don't let anybody, don't let anybody do that. So, okay, so now I can see I need a little bit more peach up in her forehead. Let's sharpen this up. And there's so many awesome portrait artists out there, that like probably spend way, way more time than I do on a face. And by no means am I like the end all of portraitures. I do a lot of them, but believe me, there are some awesome color pencil artists out there. If you've ever bought a color pencil magazine, or if you can follow color pencil on Facebook, color pencil magazine on Facebook, the actual magazine has a Facebook page. You will see some amazing, amazing color pencil artists. Because this isn't like all I do. This is how I do my portraits in color pencil, but it's not like my only thing I ever do. So I'm not spending, 12 hours a day on it like some people do. Because I do like to do other things too. But the more time you spend on whatever it is, you want to get good at, it does take time and practice. There's just no two ways about it. So you just again, because I've gone over her nose a few times with peach, I lose kind of a little bit of that darkness of the nostril because I keep going over it. So, and with Prisma handheld sharpener. Yeah. And with the Prisma handheld sharpener, yes. Well, believe me, Jean, I've used every kind of sharpener there is. All right, so I think we might go ahead and just stop, because this is all it's going to be the rest of the time. It's just blending, blending, blending. More and more blending. Okay, I need a little bit more of the mahogany red lipstick right here. So anyway, but I think y'all got the idea. And again, the purpose of this is like to feature a YouTube, one of my favorite, YouTube people. It may not necessarily even be an artist. Let me back up here and autofocus. But a person that, hang on, guys. Let me get the focus. Come on, you can do it. You can see how we got so far. And again, I tried to use the direct sunlight today just to make it, just to test it out and to see if the colors were any better or worse or accurate or whatever. So other than like an overhead lamp and one lamp, I'm using the sunlight. It's a beautiful sunny day. So I thought I'd sit on this side of the room rather than the other side where y'all usually see me. So there we go. So I'll work a little bit more on the blending of her skin because I can see where it needs to be blended. It doesn't show up necessarily on camera, but I can see where more blending needs to be done. But I just think it's so subtle, you won't be able to see much else difference. And you're just going to be watching me just go over and over. It's going to look the same. So, but anyway, I do want to stop this recording and thank Miss Vicky B for doing all her stuff that she does on her channel with planners and sketches and hobonichis and color books and everything else she does. And I'll put the link in my description box, but it's easy to find Miss Vicky B on YouTube. So if y'all want to hang around for a minute, I will save this and get some coffee, and then I'll show you some things that I bought over the weekend and a new notebook. I want to say it's a planner. I call mine idea books because mine are not really, I do have goals and some things in them, but they're more, they're not a planner so much as they're ideas that I want to do or inspiration that I want to collect, those kind of things, or lists. But anything that has a calendar to it, I really don't do. But believe me, I love the planners themselves. So y'all go check out all the unboxings and everything that Miss Vicky B does. All right, guys. So I'll be right back. So just hang loose for a minute. And thanks, Miss Vicky B, for letting us draw you.